it wasn't until the last night. I won't show you those photos, but it wasn't until the last night that it was like, mate, things are going downhill fast, you know?
You look like after a fight with Mike Tyson.
I really did. Like it looks like you've been in a fight, but you haven't got all the bruising. The blood isn't there.
Just the swelling.
So one eye was swollen up and closing, the other was swollen, my whole face was swollen.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hi everybody, my name is Vess Rusev and you're watching episode 34 of Property Jabs with Wayne Maguire.
Wow, 34.
Welcome back to the sea level peasants like us.
We are at sea level. We're just looking out over Mission Bay, so we're exactly at sea level. Exactly.
Yeah, and today it's not gonna be the usual episode. We're not gonna chat about real estate.
Okay.
We're gonna chat about something a lot more exciting than real estate. Wayne, you just recently came back from an interesting journey to Nepal.
I did.
Yeah, to Nepal, and attempting to climb Everest Base Camp. So this is something I have interest in that. I hope people will be also interested in hearing your story. But before we go there, I just want to go probably 18 months before that and check what was the thinking behind attempting to climb Everest Base Camp.
I got asked that up there, you know, because everybody's really driven, you know, and they were like, you know, has this always been your life dream? Has this been on your bucket list? The honest answer was no. It just came up because I've run up the Sky Tower 13 times for charity, and the last 3 times in fact was in fireman gear, you know. It's quite an extreme event, and somebody made me make a promise I wouldn't do it again. You know, they felt that could kill you. Said, okay, I promise I won't do it again. And then I thought, oh, I wonder what else I'll do, which will be interesting, and a goal for my physical training. And that's when I sort of picked up base camp. So I'm not driven. I didn't want to be in the mountains. I haven't thought about this all my life, other than just being a normal Kiwi and feeling that Everest, we've got a connection. 100%. 100%.
Okay. And the other interesting part is that I was following your journey, getting ready to attempt and to fly to before you flew to Nepal. I've seen you on a bike, restricted oxygen. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? How was the preparation? What was the goal of the preparation?
The goal of the preparation was to make it easier, you know, train hard, fight easy. So I wanted to, if anything, overtrain, so there was no way that would let me down. And you've got high impact on the legs, high impact on the lungs, reduced oxygen. So, you know, I'm pretty fit. Like I'll do three times a week in the boxing gym with boxing and weights. Saturday boxing, then I'll get another weight session in during the week, and then I'll get another couple of cardios. So on top of that, and I'll make a point here, I think a small amount of exercise has no benefit to anybody. So anybody who goes, oh yeah, I've done 30 minutes 3 times a week, I say, sweet, it'll do nothing for you. It's my add-on exercise. On top of that, found a high altitude training center, which happened to be in GI, 15 minutes away from the base. Walter over there, absolute champ. Walter, you're amazing. And we just put an oxygen mask on, and we'd belt away on the treadmill or on the bike for an hour, running at 50% of the oxygen intake that you and me are breathing right now.
Okay. And for how long?
1 hour.
No, I mean before you went on the journey.
Probably put, I don't know, 8-9 sessions in. I've still got a couple left, so I enjoy it so much, I'm going to go back and do them. It's good for your boxing too. Cardio.
Definitely not driven. Not driven person here. Okay, so next you flew to India. You did a little bit of sightseeing. We've seen the beautiful photographs in front of Taj Mahal, right?
Taj Mahal, which is amazing. Like, you know, bucket list stuff, definitely. Talking to my daughters, Taj Mahal, 100%.
Awesome.
Yep.
And then from India you flew to Kathmandu.
Kathmandu,
Yeah.
sightseeing and hung out in Kathmandu. Really felt attached to that place. Really like Kathmandu. It's one of those, like Beirut's a city
Yes.
that I love. But Kathmandu, I was going, man, I reckon I already know the alleys and I reckon I could hang out here. I really like Kathmandu.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing place.
What was the smell of Kathmandu? Does it have a specific smell? I'm not referring to anything bad or good. I'm just saying what was because it's, I always relate to. So for example, I still remember the smell at the pyramids in Giza,
Yes.
in
Yep.
Luxor in Egypt,
Yep.
places that are not, common for people from the Western world, right?
I'm laughing because the smell I remember is the smell of us after a couple of weeks of not showering up in the Himalayas. That was
The smell of yaks.
That
You
was
were the yaks.
that was pretty. It wasn't good. I walked into my room one night and I went, man, what stinks? And then I was like, oh my god, it's me, because you don't wash up there,
Yes.
Smell in Kathmandu, it's a city that gets rain. So unlike Cairo, and you've
Yep.
described Cairo and down the Valley of the Kings,
Yeah.
Luxor, if they don't get a lot of rain, it's dry air, it hangs out,
Yeah.
Kathmandu, we're getting there into the monsoon, so you got the rain, so it was quite fresh. If there was something I remembered about it, it was dal bhat and eating curry every day,
Yeah.
and just actually really enjoying it. So it was probably the smell of the curry.
Yeah. So from Kathmandu, let's go and start on the timeline and go up. So first day you were attacking the mountain.
Yeah, from Kathmandu, it gets real, to be honest, like the night before, when you suddenly packed all your gear, and all your gear is sitting in this big, they call it a duffel bag. It's a kit bag, looks like an old army bag.
Yeah.
And then you got your backpack and you've got your shorts, t-shirt, and your boots sitting there. And you go, mate, when I wake up tomorrow, we're off. And then out to the airport. Not high efficiency there, but we jumped on a chopper.
Yeah.
Lots of choppers up and down for ferrying goods, supplies.
And rescue probably.
And mainly I think for rescue. Yeah. And that's what you see every single day is somebody evacuating. So it's pretty brutal. Onto a chopper, flew into Lukla.
That's the craziest airport in the world, for sure.
Like the runway is shorter. We're coming down St. Heliers Bay Road now. The runway is shorter than this.
If you don't know Lukla, just Google it and see a few crazy landings of airplanes. Yeah, just
it's nuts in there.
Yeah.
And I guess the first thing that I picked up, we've spent a lot of time in choppers. We've been very lucky.
Yeah.
Was the minute this thing lifted off and started climbing out of Kathmandu, I could hear that the rotors were struggling. And the fact is, there's just not enough air under it, and they're sort of beating away like, well, that's tough going. Down here, dug, up there, dug. I'm like, wow, okay.
Not enough density.
Yeah, so we just sort of flew in literally at ground level, popping over ridges, and got in there. And then when you hit it, from Lukla on, it's either on foot or it's a helicopter going overhead. Yeah. Or it's an animal, and there's yaks and donkeys.
So no vehicles,
nothing.
Modern vehicles.
Nothing. No cars, no trucks, no roads, no bikes, no motorbikes, nothing. There's nothing with an engine on it other than a chopper going over the top. And it's beautiful, And I think the minute I hit, you walk out of Lukla, it's your first taste of altitude. It's almost like the first round in a boxing fight. You're trying to settle things down a little bit. You just get it was pretty easy on the first day because you don't know what time you're going to get in there with the flights, and we just got 3-4 hours of hiking in and put the first night in. Second day, you start heading to Namche Bazar.
Yeah.
And that
which is the biggest,
yeah,
village, city, town on the way.
Yeah, Namche's nuts. Like it's just like, I love Namche Bazar. So to get there, you're literally going vertical going up, and it is, wow, it's like boom, and this thing just goes up and up and up, and here's this sort of valley up in the clouds.
I'll put some photographs from yours if you allow me to take a few of your
absolutely
social. Yeah,
it's just the most incredible place. Like when you hit Namche Bazar, you're like, wow, okay, we're in the Himalayas.
It is something with the colors on the way up.
Yeah,
just looking at colors, probably because the sun hits them differently because it's much higher, right? So what's the height? What's the altitude at Namche?
I think it's about 332, something like that.
Yeah,
it's around 3. So by Namche, you take a day, you do a double day in Namche. Yeah. So the idea there is
acclimation.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yep. So you got to acclimatize. So what we do is, it's called a rest day. A rest day is you look at the highest feature you can find.
Yeah.
We walk to the highest feature. We walk all around.
Yeah.
And then you come down and sleep. So you walk high and then sleep low.
Yeah. So after 2 days in Namche, you again on the third day. What was the? We're gonna go on third day, but what was the? If you had to describe a typical day in the mountain, walking, how many hours? What do you feel? What do you see?
Typical day is you get up, you have your breakfast. Okay. Typical day is you wake up, you put back on the clothes that you were wearing yesterday.
Yeah.
And you go down to breakfast. Like there's literally nothing else to do. Your boots are sitting out by the front door.
Yeah.
And you're typically in Crocs, and your big woolen socks. You eat your breakfast, you have your masala chai, and then probably about 8ish, 7:30, 8ish, you hit the road, and you just hike. And you might do that 8 hours, 7-8 hours. Try and push on as long as you can. Have a break, around lunchtime. Probably around that noonish, probably close to noon, 1 o'clock. There'll be somewhere to eat. All the places to eat are strategically at the bottom of the next climb.
So you're gonna.
So for the last
load.
Yeah, that's exactly it. For the last 5,000 years, they've worked out we better eat now because we need more energy next, and that's where everything goes. So you pull up, and Dan, who was my guide, he was a champ.
Yeah.
We just pulled up at lunch, and the gig was easy. He was like, do you want the menu? I said, mate, no, you choose. I'll eat what you're eating.
So are you moving in a group, in a caravan? I mean, with the yaks and everything else, or it's only you or in your
and Sherpas?
Sherpas.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Vess. A lot of you leave comments, tell me you need help. Do me a favor, I'll tell you the best way to get hold of me. Shoot me a message right now at 021 622 266. Again, 021 622 266. Let's get back to the video.
It depends what time of year. If you're the middle of the season and you're going to get skies like this, you're going to have big crowds. So you'll be in a group. Some of the groups going up, I saw some of the groups. A lot of groups from India go up because it's so close. Yeah. And they would have a dozen in a group. We were Himalayan glaciers. I was the last guy for the season going up, and I was by myself.
Okay.
So it's just me, Dan, and a porter, and that really suited me because I didn't want to be. I wanted to be up there, and I wanted to have the peace and quiet. I wanted to sense everything, feel everything, be part of it.
Experience it by yourself instead of having to chat with all these people and having all that.
And that's exactly it. And I actually dodged all the conversations. So you're sitting around eating. I'm the guy with my sunglasses still on, with my head down, just eating. I just did not want to be drawn into small talk, you know. You're just better off keeping your mouth shut, looking out there.
So at what point you realized, man, this thing is getting harder? At least harder on the body, or harder on, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting. I realized it 3 days after my daughters did. So I had a WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
And I took 1,000 photos. You know, I'm forever saying, "Hey, Dan, hold on, man. You know, I'll take a photo. I'll take another photo. Dan, there's some yaks. Hold on. You know, take a photo. Dan, there's the donkeys. You know, Dan, look at this bridge. Dan, you know, Dan, look at the mountain. You know, it's awe-inspiring. So I took 1,000 photos, and about 3 days out from hitting the wall, my girls were screaming at me, saying, turn around, we've had enough, that's ridiculous, go back, go down, you know. I didn't see what they saw at that stage. So what was happening at that stage is all the physical training was fine. I was as fit as Dan. When we had a break, I was like, mate, I'm ready to go again. Never once had sore legs or even tired legs. Never once ran out of oxygen, you know. I just enjoyed the exercise. So because of that, acclimatization, we dropped out the second day. So Dan said, mate, you feel good? Should we just push on through? I was like, yeah, let's go for it. So we skipped one, and we shouldn't have done that. So now we're going into altitude. I can perform and go, but I'm now retaining fluid around my brain.
What's the height? What's the altitude at that point?
It's
over 4,000?
Oh, well, you know, you can easily have that effect kick in at about 2,000.
Yeah.
2,000 meters. We had it, I had it kick in at about probably 3.7, probably 4, close to 4, you know?
Yeah.
And then I think my critical decision making was a bit flawed, you know. I was ignoring things. I was puffy around the eyes. I was like, man, this is just, yeah, but it's not uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Then the next day, in the morning when I went to put my watch on, it was like, I can't get it over my hand. I was like, that's annoying, you know. So it wasn't, shit, something's wrong. It was, this is uncomfortable, that's annoying. And so the girls could see that from photos. It wasn't until the last night, I won't show you those photos, but it wasn't until the last night that it was like, mate, things are going downhill fast, you know.
You look like after a fight with Mike Tyson.
I really did. Like, it looks like you've been in a fight, but you haven't got all the bruising. The blood isn't there.
Just the swelling.
So one eye was swollen up and closing, the other was swollen, my whole face was swollen. And then I remember saying to Dan, he's going, how do you feel? I said, yeah, not bad. I said, I think we'll make it. I think we might be doing it with one eye tomorrow. I said, but the good news is I haven't got that headache in the front, you know, so, because that's what I thought was the sign of altitude sickness. So I said, mate, the headache's in the back. Well, I had it the wrong way around, you know? If I'd known that, I wouldn't have told him. And I just saw in his face just changed, like, mate, we're in trouble. And the other Sherpas were saying to him, mate, what's wrong with your client, you know? Yeah. So that night was uncomfortable. And Dan, he's a champ. He checked in every 2 hours. I think he was worried, like. And then in the morning, I think I was still in bed at 7, and he said, mate, we'll have breakfast. I said, mate, I just want to rest for a bit longer. Never said that before. And when I went down into the dining area, the other people that are in there, they looked worse than me. I looked across the room, I was like, oh no. And he said, mate, they've called in the helicopter. So he said, we can jump on the helicopter, or I think it would be me, I think he'd be walking. Jump on the helicopter, we'll get you down. So at that stage, I was still, this is dumb, I was still loving it. I was pretty uncomfortable at that stage, but I was still loving it. And I was like, mate, I think we're okay. I think we can walk out. Because I didn't want to leave it behind.
Yeah.
And the weather was, there was no visibility. I'm like, mate, you're going to be waiting a long time for a helicopter to risk coming in here.
So what's the altitude at that point?
We're just under 4,000, I think. Yeah.
Is that just the day before you were supposed to reach?
Yeah. So that was
base camp?
Yeah, that was the calculation. That was the calculation. Was we in height? I was only 500 meters under the altitude that I'd tap out at. So, but to walk, we had the glacier to go. We'd be and the final valley. We'd be about 7 hours up.
Yeah.
So to add the 500 meters more of pressure, not good. And to walk up 7 more hours, I actually just was, And then the thing that made the decision though was we wouldn't be able to get back down to where we were or lower.
Okay.
So I'd have to sleep higher than I was, and already the whole thing was blowing up. Yeah. So if we could have got up and down, we'd have done it. But if we'd gone up, I have no doubt if we'd gone up, we'd have called a helicopter to get out of there real fast.
So it's good that someone else actually did the decision for you, probably.
Yeah.
In that case. And what was the inner conversation when you were going to bed and knowing that, man, probably I wouldn't make it, I need to go down the last night?
I wasn't upset, and maybe that's because I didn't have.
But did you realize already going to bed that probably you have to?
Oh, I knew it was a 50-50 call.
Yeah.
I was like, this is going to have to ease off to go higher, or if we're going higher, this is getting uncomfortable. Yeah. And if we're going higher, we'll be in trouble.
Yeah.
And if you get the fluid on your lungs, if you get it really bad, from there to fatal can be 24 hours. Okay. If you get the fluid on your brain, which is compressing that, and I wasn't at the severe end, I'm pretty sure, but if you're at the severe end, from there to fatal is 12 hours. So
it's called high altitude sickness.
It's HAPE and HARP, and it's different things. Yeah.
Okay.
So and it's really just, and so he critical thinking. I was testing myself every day. Am I packing my gear right? Have I got all the gear in the right place? Have I left anything behind? Am I stumbling? Am I doing up my laces, etc.? And everything, I was like, mate, I'm sweet. Yeah. But the critical thinking where we went wrong is push forward a day. Like in hindsight, like once, when we'd flown out and I was back in Singapore, I was like, why did push forward today? Like it's the golden rule. And then the second one is, so anybody thinking about doing it, do all your training. The things I'd change is definitely do your days, do your double days, and diamox. Yeah. Like you could be, overweight, unfit, sucking on diamox, and you're going to get there.
Yeah, diamox is the medicine.
Yeah. And I should have done that, and I think probably the fact that we were powering through it gave us a false sense that you're all okay. Yeah. But your physical strength or determination has no connection with the fluid starting to build up in your head.
Yeah, I've heard also people who actually live at constantly at, let's say, 4,000 altitude, when they come at sea level, they can also have something similar. I'm not sure it's a different name, because then you've got a lot more oxygen, right? Yeah. So it's a completely different way of looking at it.
Well, if I just jump to that point, you get back to Kathmandu, like you shower and and you eat and eat and eat, and then you just sleep. Yeah. And when I hit Singapore, I straight to the hotel, straight to bed, slept 15 hours in a row. Like I woke up like it was 2 hours, Yeah. And it is crazy. Even now, and this is a couple of weeks later, I can still stack up 10 to 12 hours sleep a day. So coming
still
down,
recovering.
yeah, the body's still recovering. I've been back to the gym a couple of times. I don't really feel like sort of turning up the heat.
Yeah.
But man, I need some sleep. Like I think one is, I think maybe I pulled a lot out of the body, and I think the second one is I'm overwhelmed with the amount of oxygen.
Yeah.
You know, like it's summer when you stay at the beach.
Yeah.
You know, and it knocks you out and you sleep.
Yes.
You know, really well. I'm like that. You know.
Interesting. And
I might even pull over now and have a nap.
after the journey, and obviously on the way down, you walked for another, I don't know, 3-4 days.
Yeah, 3 days. I think.
3 days. So
yeah.
4 days up or 5 days up?
Oh, about 7 days up.
7 days up and
Yeah.
3 days. So 10 days roughly.
Yep.
The whole journey, right? And I'm sure you had plenty of time to think about it, and you're gonna think about it probably for another 20-30 years.
Yep.
Because I'm sure it was a fascinating experience. But what was your like a takeaway personal, but not on the physical stuff, but have you learned something new about you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm lucky that I didn't get to base camp. I would have thought that was the whole gig, you know.
Yeah.
But I experienced this early in the piece going up, and it was, and I posted this. It was that it's the journey. It's not the destination.
Yeah.
Because sure, you got a destination, but I'm not terribly religious, but it's the will of God whether you make it or not. You know, it's not your choice. You know, and I love the Muslim way of looking at that. You know, they'll go, I'll see you. God willing.
Yeah.
You know, it's not my choice. If he allows me, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I think the destination, because I'm so driven on goals. But I think now coming out of that, it's like, have a goal. This is going to be crazy for me. Have a goal, but mate, enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
You know, like I enjoyed every lunch break. I enjoyed every yak that went past. Like I know this yak, every donkey, I just enjoyed every part of it. And I saw people with headphones on, listening to music, and it looked to me that they missed most of it. And they probably got to base camp and got their photo.
Yeah.
And then turned around and said, I did it. So I think it is, you know, you think about us and work.
Yeah.
We work, and everybody, we work so hard. And New Zealand is in this little rat race, you know. These guys up there have nothing. They live in stone buildings. And out the front door of the stone building, on the sunny side of the house, is the yak dung or the donkey dung or the horse dung drying out, so that it's got no moisture, so you can use it to burn in the fire.
Yeah.
So you can, again, we smelled of yak dung and sweat. But they looked happy, and they didn't have much. And now you and me and everybody is working so hard to pay for what we have, but we haven't got time to enjoy what we have. You know?
Yeah.
IPSA, a guy, not IPSA, IPA, a guy I started real estate in, at 10 to 3 every day, he just folded up the paper and left the office. I was like, Mum, where's he going? And he picked up his daughter from school every day. Walked down to the school in Titterang, he picked up his daughter and walked out. I was like, mate, have you not driven? You know, IPA, we can work harder. And now I look back and go, mate, IPA, and I saw it at the time, he had it right. So I think that's probably my lesson, is all this sort of stuff is probably doesn't matter as much as I thought it does.
There was a video of you filming young kids walking up and down from school, smiling, being so happy, and I was looking around like it looked very cold, it looked humid, it looked like these boys and girls, they were walking up and down every day to go to school and back. And I remember probably once, you know, of course everyone was following you on social just with the daily updates, And when you said that you're going down, it's not it's too risky to keep going up, and still enjoying and loving the journey. I said to my wife, probably this is the best thing that happened to Wayne, that
100%.
he didn't actually
right, man.
because then if you go up there, the ego kicks in.
100%.
Right? I've done this, I've done, so you don't realize there was so much you would have missed if you reached the base camp. So
you're right. The universe delivered me a far better lesson. I'd have got the wrong lesson, and my ego, which would have been sort of like the Hollywood sign,
Yes.
that evaporated, and I was like, far out, man. This is good. Yeah.
Listening, humbling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. No, anything else that you can think about it that you wanna share, or about the journey? Anything?
I think if anybody has got it as a goal, like I would do it. I would say definitely do it. Reach out. I'll give you some tips on training. Give you tips on diamox. But yeah, day after day, like at the beginning you were in forest down where all the rivers are, and they just look like the water's come straight off Everest. And then it gets into scrub, and then it gets into literally nothing. It's
Rocks.
rock. And at that stage you feel like you're walking off the planet. And like I've been to some of the most amazing places on the planet, and that felt like I was walking off the planet. And as a Kiwi, it's a very, very special place.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about doing it, 100% do it. 100%.
Are there a lot of photos or signs or anything to do with Hillary along the way? Bridges.
Yep. So the biggest suspension bridge, those bridges are really cool, is the Hillary Bridge. I was talking to a girl, Lisa. We were eating curry together at lunchtime, and she had climbed Everest the year before on the exact day.
Wow.
So she was remembering it on the anniversary, and we probably had, this is probably the only conversation I had up there, hour and a half around that. And when she spoke about Hillary and Tenzin, she was just wow. She said she can't understand how they got over the Hillary step. She said it's like it's only the height of a room or room and a half, but it's a sheer wall of rock, and you're at about 8,000 meters in the air. No one else has ever been up there before. You haven't got ropes in front of you. You don't know if it's possible or what happens. And she goes, how did this guy go up a rock? In awe. It was really cool. And then like to see the guys, like the guys I really enjoyed were a couple of guys coming down who had 8K gear on, which means they've done 8,000 meters. I'm like, mate, and they'd just summited, in the last few days. I was like, mate, these guys are champs. And then I met a guy, you'd like this, I met a guy who was a Gurkha up there, and he was cool, so we enjoyed that.
Definitely a different episode, but I think it's a good way to tell your story, and someone that is considering doing it, because I know that there are a lot of Kiwis thinking, because we've got the connection with what Hillary has done so many years with almost nothing. Think about the gear. So guys, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to Wayne, and the next one will be about real estate, so hopefully you enjoyed this one. Thank you.
See you, ciao.
See you on the next one. Bye bye.
1